Hey heroes, welcome in. We are your hosts for hire. I am Lucas Rand. This is Kyle Cage. Now today we're going to be talking about all the games that we have not gotten to see that do not exist yet that we want out in the world. We want to get all these games before we die of old age. So please, to all the studio execs out there, listen to us and listen to these ideas. But most importantly, you guys out there, get in our comment section. Tell us if you agree with these ideas and whether or not they should come to fruition or whether they should just be thrown in the trash bin. As well, make sure that you guys stick around at the very, very end. We got some questions from Colin. He's going to be helping you guys get to know us a little bit. We're going to be getting to know you guys, ideally, if you get in the comments and answer all his questions along with us. I'll say this, we're having a little struggle getting you guys to comment. So we want to talk to you guys, right? We want to get some engagement. I know the comic book world is known for so many things, but online shyness is not one of them. So please get into our comments and let's talk.
In-person awkwardness, we're the kings of that.
Oh, yes.
Online shyness, I know that's not us.
Come on, let's talk.
So obviously there are a lot of superhero games that we have gotten. Most of them not so great, but we wanted to talk mostly about the ones that we want to see going forward. Games that we think the systems are
There's
ready
so
for.
much potential untapped in games because of what I think is companies not recognizing the IP. You know, like somebody pitches like a Green Lantern game to like the DC bigwigs, and they're like, "No, Superman and Batman only." And then they like go about their like fucking billionaire lives.
Yeah. So this is kind of inspired because you had recently replayed Spider-Man 2, and while we were both playing through it the first time, all we could think during the flying around was there should be more superhero games made. We're ready.
Well, funny that I just mentioned Superman, because what I thought in Spider-Man 2 is we were ready for a Superman game again. We're ready for another Superman game, a really modernized, dope, like city destruction Superman game. We're ready, and I want it. You guys, let us know in the comments, because we're going to go through a lot of different games that we want to see here. So what we want to hear from you, obviously, is what games you want to see, right? What are some characters that you would want to see in a game that you think would adhere to gaming super, super well? For example, like Superman. I think a game where like you have to mitigate city damage during your fights more than like your own health bar. You know, like you don't necessarily have a health bar, but the city does.
Yeah. Damn.
Right?
That'd be cool.
I saw that in like a concept like long ago, and I've just had that like thought locked in my brain since then.
That's
that would be super cool
for specifically for a Superman game. You know, that'd be perfect because that's like his big struggle. You know, like he very rarely struggles like physically against enemies. Like
yeah, that would be pretty cool. I think.
Yeah, I think going along with DC, I think Green Lantern would be another cool one.
Yes.
Just because the different constructs that you could create. Like I'm imagining you can go into like almost like an editor or creator mode and create your own construct ideas and import it into the game. So like
that would be
instead
so
of just having the game constructs that they create for you, have a almost like an editor mode where you can create your own.
That would be pretty cool. The way I'm imagining that is like, you know, like kind of like the old like Kingdom Hearts gummy ships, you know, like you can just like build something.
Yeah, which like, there's a framework.
More sophisticated, obviously.
There's a framework. There's a framework that it like lays around. Like you can have like the move do
guns
AoE damage,
or shields
or like specific type of damage, AoE support. You know, like single target, whatever specific.
That would be cool,
thing.
Man.
Then you have like a set of constructs you can create that'll help you with whatever task you want. You know,
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Because I agree. Green Lantern is one of like, if someone were to ask me like on the street, like, hey, what's like a superhero game that like has never been made that you'd want? I think Green Lantern might be like my top. Like,
and now it's flowing like puzzles in that game where you have to create specific constructs and they give you hints to what constructs you need to make to finish the puzzle.
That would be so sick. I do believe that, you know, like it would be complicated.
Oh, absolutely.
To make this game.
Yeah.
But I 100% believe it's possible.
Much more than a Superman game. For sure.
Yes, right. But I do like, again, I think it's possible though. Like we've seen some pretty crazy and complex games, man. Like we're ready for this, especially mine are like almost all my thoughts are like for DC because like
Mhm.
they're just so behind the ball.
Yeah,
Like they're just
we've
so
talked about
behind
that before.
the ball.
Yeah.
Like one that I can think of for like Marvel that just like would be awesome would be like another Iron Man game. You know, like
Mhm.
one where like suit customization would just be like crazy cool.
Mhm.
Like that you could go out and like world missions, you know, like around like it would just be I think again, we're ready for these types of games
Again,
on these like
imagining
big
it very,
scales.
very similarly to like the gummy ship system, where you have to go out and you grind different resources for different parts for specific suits
Get
that you want,
recipes,
and you,
get
yeah,
different, you know,
and you
like
don't,
blueprints for different
and you shouldn't
suits.
necessarily need a specific suit to complete a mission, but it'll make that mission easier if you have
Easier,
this
right?
specific suit
Agreed.
to go into it with.
Agreed.
And the game shouldn't tell you what suit. You should
Yeah.
just kind of suss it out. Like, oh, this one's gonna be like a water level. I should probably
Yeah.
have the diver suit or
Yeah,
whatever. Like,
and you know me, I love my difficult games, so I wouldn't even be like mad about being like blocked until you find the right suit. You
well,
know, like you
especially
have
because
to
that'd be
get
a
the
part
right
of
one,
the,
bro.
yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be
you
a
know,
part
like
of it. Is like,
to
which one
me
do I
that would be
need?
fun.
Yeah,
Like I
that's
can see that that'd be frustrating to a lot of people. But for me that'd be a lot of fun.
and you could even like have a setting where you could like have suit suggestions, you know, where you can turn on suit suggestions where the game tells you
Mm,
essentially what suits you need if you
that'd be
don't want to
sweet.
deal with that, you know.
Yeah,
Like there's a lot of ways
100%.
around it, very similarly to
100%.
like I see people talking about like the new Assassin's Creed game and how the instant how like when you go to assassinate someone it doesn't kill them instantly, which they put a setting in for that, which is the first one in a long time that they have it.
Interesting.
They
I
have an
didn't know that.
yeah, they have an instant assassination setting so that if you want it to feel like the original games where it's a little bit easier, you can. You know, that like I think that's a really smart idea for games going forward.
Midway
Because
through here,
yeah,
tell us how you're feeling, how you're liking this episode, what you're thinking of our thoughts. We have like we're saving the best for last,
I think
right?
so. I think
Um,
so.
so you go ahead and say the bit that you came up with that I think would be really really cool.
So for there's a couple different things. So first let's touch on the Daredevil game because
That's the one I was thinking.
you had talked earlier about how there are games like the Green Lantern game would be harder to do than Superman, but
Hmm.
it has aspects of it that have been done before. A Daredevil game would very much incorporate the detective mode, the eagle vision, the million different names for the same mechanic that have been in games since since Arkham Asylum came out.
Yep.
Um,
Or even since like the Assassin's Creed games came out,
yeah,
you know, like
yeah,
Eagle Vision. We were just
yep.
talking about Assassin's Creed, like you know that like changed. Like suddenly every game had a version of seeing through objects, seeing your enemies, be able to see that. Like that
Highlighting
wasn't a thing
objectives. Yeah.
for forever, and then like someone came up with it, and suddenly, boom! It was the like overwhelming trend across like all games. So
So
what Kyle came to me with when we were coming up with this episode was a Daredevil game
mhm.
where that's like the basis of the game. It's just one of those like where you're constantly in that eagle vision detective mode, whatever you want to call it. That's the like skeleton of the game, right? You're always in one of those modes. To like the sneaking like ability of that game would be so cool. Whatever the action sequences are like, whether like it's like detective mode and you can like see their skeletons, you know, and you're just kind of like fighting them like in that sense, or like if they're like blips on the screen, you know, like the closer you get, the more combat you do, the more clearer the picture like becomes on them.
The more noise that's going, the more things that
Yeah,
are
you know,
happening.
like
If it's
things that are
raining, kind of like in the
using your environment, throwing your batons against the wall,
to like
illuminating the
illuminate
room.
it. Yeah.
You know, like whatever it would be, man, would be so unbelievably one interactive and two so fucking cool.
And you could use the difficulties to like change how the game works. So like say in the hardest difficulty, you can't like you have to listen. You have to listen to where the breathing of the enemy you're searching for
It would
is
just be
coming
so
from.
immersive.
Yeah.
Like one of these games would just be so extremely immersive. And like right now, especially where like Daredevil is kind of like hot,
Mhm.
like this would be just like a lovely way to capitalize on that.
Yeah.
Especially because like it's seemingly with like these Spider-Man games and now like Blade, Wolverine. There's like a rumored Venom game. Like they're like kind of cultivating a universe.
Mhm.
Having Daredevil be a part of that would just make sense. He's in New
Yeah,
York. He's in
especially
Hell's
cuz like
Kitchen. Like it would fit.
And I think it would work really well if they mashed if they combined it with the Midnight Suns game that came out, because that, like, have that be
Actually,
a
bro,
part of a similar universe.
I have on here on one of my lists that a game that I would love to see would be a Justice League game in that Midnight Suns style, where it's that like card, like
Yeah,
strategy style card game.
yeah,
I forget. There's a name for it, and I
yeah.
can't think of it right now.
I think it's just
Um,
strategy, but
yeah.
there's a
Uh,
name.
Either way, that to me would be super fun. Where like instead of the Midnight Suns, you get the members of the Justice League instead of like being like in the mansion. You're up at the Watchtower. You get to have those interactions, those conversations with all the Justice League members. You get to like have little like mementos and little artifacts that belong to like each.
Create your own team and have,
Yep,
like,
exactly. Like have different characters that work well together, just like in the Midnight Suns game. Like I loved that Midnight Suns game.
mhm.
Like you and me both, we played the shit out of it
I think
when
they
it
could
came out.
literally just transplant like everything from that and put
Dude,
DC characters right
I'm
into
right
it.
there 100%. Like the whole thing where you'd have to like work out outside, like like all of it could be transferred over to the Watchtower, and like it would
Easily.
make sense in the exact same way. Like I wish I knew who to pitch stuff to and how to pitch something. You guys, if you guys are out there and you are a person who knows this information and how to pitch to someone and who to pitch stuff to and how to create one in general, help us. We
Let
have
us
so
know.
many of these ideas, and I just want to get them shut down. Honestly, I just
Yeah.
want to go to somebody and be like, "This is a great idea, huh?" And they'll be like, "No, you're stupid." And I'll be like, "Okay, thank you."
Okay, at least we know now.
At least that would be so satisfying to me. Like so satisfying than this unknowing that like the state of unknowing that I sit in with these what I think are incredible ideas. Tell
Yeah.
me if we're wrong or right.
Yeah, the last idea that we think is incredible. Personally, I think this one is the best one we came up with.
I agree.
There's two different kind of versions of it. So the idea is a Hawkman Hawkgirl game, just the Hawks.
Yeah, actually,
Getting
Kyle
like,
and I came up with two different versions. So what we'll do, we'll
mhm,
each explain it, and then what you guys can do is get in our comments and tell us which one you'd prefer to see. Right?
mhm.
Tell us which one you'd think would be a funner game, which one you think like you would be personally more invested in, what you would be willing to spend $70 on, right?
That's
Because
like
that's
the
what
big
the
thing.
real thing
Yeah,
is
yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah, truly. I mean, it does depend. Like, again, I guess it does depend on the quality of the game, but of course, we're talking triple
We're
A here.
talking top notch. We're
Triple A
talking.
only.
We're talking game of the year.
So my idea with the Hawks was that you'd like play through starting with the first incarnation of them back in
So
ancient
like their
Egypt.
lives in ancient Egypt.
Yeah, so like their first incarnations, them originally meeting, everything happening, and them being ripped apart, and it that being only 5 to 10 hours of the game. Like,
And in your mind, you're envisioning RPG,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm picturing an RPG skill tree style where like
Yep.
you only have a
Open world,
certain open
almost. Yeah.
world almost, yeah, where you only have a certain section of a skill tree unlocked in the first incarnation. And then
Mm,
once you die,
that would be
you
cool.
go into the next lifetime, you can continue working on the first one, but a second one gets unlocked. And then
That
you
would be
go
cool.
through that whatever time ancient Greece, starting in ancient Egypt, 3-4,000 BC, jump a couple thousand years to like ancient Greece, Alexandria, between like 800 and 0 BC.
Just
Like,
kind of play through these like important moments, and then like have them die
y-
essentially, and each like
in
play
each
through their
iteration.
deaths essentially in each iteration.
Yeah, leading up
Uh,
to the iteration that works with the Justice League.
that being like the final,
The
like the
final,
end
and
of the game.
not actually playing. Like, yeah, like they find each other again, you find each other again, and the end of the game is them being approached by the Justice League.
Dude, that would be sick. No lie, like just like you said, like open exploration. Just like uh, again, would it be hard to do?
Yeah.
Like maybe to like to create all
I'm
of
not
these different
imagining
like
each
worlds.
lifetime being a massive, expansive thing,
Right.
because there'd be 4 or
Some
5
being
of
longer
them.
than others, some being shorter, some being longer.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Like, but
dude,
but I'm imagining like going along with, we keep coming back to it, but going along with like playing through the historical places in Assassin's Creed, like going to Paris in the 1700s, going to these
yeah,
places. It'd be a very similar vibe where you're going to these points in history and getting a glimpse through the eyes of the Hawks.
Hawks. Yeah. Dude, that would be really, really cool, actually. So now, I, I don't know which game I would prefer between the two of ours because RPGs is like what is my thing, you know.
Yeah.
So the game that I envision here would be it's kind of hard to explain. Would be kind of almost like you would have like 4 or 5 block lifetimes that you play through, right? So like it kind of being like a roguelike game, right? Where you
Okay.
start, you play through your first life. There's only so far you can make it in the first block before like you'll essentially die, right?
It
Before it
gets
gets too
too hard.
hard
Yeah.
for you to get through it, and you'll die. And then after that first death, you wake up in the second block, which is a whole new life, a whole new everything. And then you make it as far as you can in the second block until like with whatever you gained from the first until you eventually die, you wake up in your third life. And then you wake up in your final life being the fourth or fifth or whatever final
I
life
think with
that
this
is.
four would be. I think with this
Right.
style four would be 3 or 4 would
I
be
think so
best.
too. And then when you die on your fourth block, right, or your fourth life, your last life, you come back to the first one, but you have more. You know, like you're more powerful, you have more items, you have more abilities, and it lets you get further in the first block than you were able to before. And so on and so forth, you know, and then it gets to the point in the first block where you can't go on, you die, you wake up in the second block. And then you go as far as you can in this life, you die, and then like by the end of the game, you kind of flesh out the story of all of your lives
That's fucking
through
that
like
that
the 4 blocks.
that would be. I would see. What's interesting is I don't know now which game I would want to play because I really love roguelike games. I really
Same,
love
bro.
incremental progress games. Like I played so much Enter the Gungeon and
Oh yeah.
like I don't know. That is really cool. I really really like that and I had a thought while you're describing it with like getting to the end of the first block like completing it. You still
Mm-hmm.
die because that's just the way
Cause you
their
cause you
story is.
die at the end. No, that's great,
So
dude. I didn't
even
even think
if you
about that.
finish it, you don't feel like you
Right.
finished it until
Right.
you finish the
And
fourth
that
life,
fourth one.
which leads you into whatever
Yeah,
and
like you
similarly
said, like your
the
life with the
Justice
Justice
League.
League.
You
Right,
find the
exactly.
Justice League.
Exactly.
That's damn.
You guys, tell us which game you think would be more entertaining, which game you personally would get more into. Kyle and I are just gonna have to debate off camera.
Yeah, I'm just saying, why not both? I don't know. We could
Yeah,
have like
why not both?
your game be like Enter the Gungeon style, like low graphics, kind of
Yeah,
easy to
right.
program,
Hmm.
roguelike. Whereas the RPG being a big, expansive AAA
Like
game,
God of
like
War style.
yeah,
Uh, DC, hear us. Hear our pleas. We love you and we want you to make money is what we really want at the end of the day so that you can make more content for us to enjoy, baby.
yeah.
So listen to Kyle and I. We have our finger on the pulse of the people.
We
You,
like
the
to.
people, agree with us, please, so that we can go to DC and say that we have our pulse on the finger of the people, or our finger on the pulse of the people. Help us out. We're trying to make it big in this industry.
We just want things to be fun and better and
Yeah,
people to just enjoy them. That's another
yeah.
big thing. It's like people need to just enjoy what we have. And if you don't, that's fine.
And what I
Just,
really think, like,
you
especially
know,
I guess what the heart of this episode is that we want to take like this excitement that is going on through superhero films and TV shows, and I guess now we're starting to bridge into TV shows, right? We're starting to realize not just films make money, but like we can go into the TV show realm. Like I'm hoping that these companies kind of get hip to the you can go into the gaming realm and you can make like and you can pour resources and story arcs and like time and money into the gaming realm and it'll also pay you dividends because
yeah.
like there's a huge market for it, right? Like especially to me in the gaming world, comics adhere so well because like what do we all like in gaming? Action, fun, thrill, spectacle, like that all comes so naturally from
depth
the
of
comic book world.
depth of story and
Yeah,
there
right.
being stakes and tragedy
Yep,
and like it's like you said it's it's cooked into the
yep,
base of comics.
yep.
Everything that makes games great is the same things that make comics great.
100%. Like so, like they just adhere to each other so well. So again, listen to us. We are just trying to get some good games out here. And if you guys have different ideas, like there's so many different characters that we didn't even touch on that could have amazing games. So
We would
please get in our
love
comments and
we
talk about
yeah,
that.
we would love to shout out any game ideas that you have. Let us know in the comments so we
100%.
can go through them with you and we can talk about it because we would love
And we
to
can
try and
expand
flesh
on it
out.
too, right? If you guys
Yeah,
have any ideas on the games that we put out, and you're like, "Oh, like I had this thought while you were explaining it," and dude, talk to us about it. Like let's expand on this. That's like the whole goal of this
yeah,
podcast, right?
yeah.
But without further ado, guys, before we get going too long, we want to take one poll from Colin. We want to ask him some questions. We want to get to know you guys, let you guys get to know us a little bit. We have a
Yeah.
whole plethora of questions in Colin here, and we're just going to pull an answer.
Yeah, we could always use some more though. So again, in the comments, let us know your suggestion. We'll write it down, we'll put it in there, and if we pull it, we'll shout you out. So make sure to get as many suggestions in there as you can so you can get as many chances to be pulled.
I've been waiting to pull this one on you, Kyle.
Oh no, I hate it
I've
when you
been
say
waiting to
that.
pull
I
this one.
hate it when you
I've
say
been waiting to pull this one on you, bro.
that.
All right, Kyle, in your opinion, and for you guys out there, this is an anime question. Who is cooler, Mr. Aizawa from My Hero or Scar from Full Metal? I knew this one would get in your mind.
Okay. As far as base coolness goes, Mr. Aizawa. Just because of his concept isn't in a world of superpowers, he just evens the playing field. And then
Right,
it's
and then beats your ass.
and then
Yeah.
it's no longer even. Scar's cool, but he's also like really tragic and very like
Well, like Scar's coolness almost comes in the same form of why, like to me, like the show Dexter is cool. Like he's like a serial killer. Like to me, Scar is a very similar role where like he's like he punishes magic users with magic. Like it's
well, and it's also like there's a hugely dark backstory to him that has
right.
that parallels to like real world events, and like with
Yeah.
Ishbal is Israel, like it's literally like it's about the genocide of a people, and like how the army
Talk your
came
shit.
in and used alchemists to just eradicate a people, and it's his will and what he believes is the will of God to punish those.
Those
So
people.
like he's very much like the Punisher, actually, like, where he's willing
And like I
to.
said, I just love that dichotomy, right? Where
Mhm.
like what he's doing, is it hypocrisy? Like yeah, but like is he justified? Yeah. Like is he extremely badass? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I just love his character so much. If you guys know who we're talking about, then you know who we're talking about. But I'm gonna go with you, and I'm gonna agree that it's extremely hard to top Mr.
Like
Aizawa.
I want to disagree, but it's just the concept of his character is so dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like, and that's not even going with like the raps. I don't even understand those, but like they're so cool, bro.
He's trained in
Like
them. He's
it's
trained in
just
raps.
so cool. He's trained in rapping your boy up.
Oh my god! All right, let's do one more. Let's do
One more
let's
from
do what
Colin. Heck
Colin's
yeah.
got. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I wrote that one a long time ago, and I was like, "Ooh, this one's gonna be good." Ooh, all right. Here's an interesting one for the both of us.
Hang on, I'm gonna be thinking about that in like 2 hours, just so you're aware. You're a bastard.
Gonna be like, no, but wait, in this episode. All right, Kyle, would you rather be a member of the Bat Family or the Spider Society?
And okay,
Yeah, that's a good one. Because like for me, right away, my brain goes Bat Family because like that just like levels up your cool, like in just like insane ways. But then like it also levels up your trauma.
I was just about to say you kind of have to have some really horrible shit happen to you to be accepted. So you gotta be like an orphan or like left.
Gotta be an orphan.
Like
that's there's no ifs, ands, or buts
there's
about that
literally one of the Bat Family members is literally called Orphan.
They're like, we're running out of names. We can't name another one. Robin, listen, what are you, an orphan? Yeah.
Yeah, they're all orphans though, so it really applies to any of
them. But then in my mind, spider powers are the greatest superpower to get. Like, if you were like to take like if you were to get a random superpower out of a hat, spider powers would be like top 3.
For me, yeah. For I
You
feel
know what I
like
mean?
for most people,
for a majority of people.
And if not, please tell us what yours would be.
Yeah,
that
for real.
Spider sense, specifically the sense, like let alone the flying or the swinging and the jumping and the flipping and the strength.
Yeah.
Just the spider sense alone.
Yeah. 100% agree.
Should put it up there. Here's my thought process. Again, trauma up to here with with the
Already
Bat
got
family.
up to here, baby.
Spiders aren't necessarily less traumatized though.
This is true.
They still have some trauma.
Yeah. This is true.
Here's the big thing. Do I want access to billions of dollars or do I want access to the multiverse?
Ooh. Oh,
'Cause
so you're
that's the
saying,
way it
right? So
breaks
if you're
down
in
for
the
me.
Spider
If you're in the
Society,
Spider
right?
Society, you have access to the
To the
multiverse.
multiverse. Okay.
But if you're in the Bat family, you
You
could
have $1
not
billion.
be. You could just not be a Bat member and just be a billionaire.
No, you have to go out and risk your life, Kyle. It's a part of it.
Here's
Gotta
the
put
other.
tights on.
Here's the other. I'm gonna go with Spider Society because I don't want to train that hard.
Sold.
I just want to have the powers.
And I'm sold. I'm a lazy superhero. I'll be real. I just turned 30 the other day. My knees hurt. I'm just trying to get the abilities. Yeah.
Not have a
I didn't consider
childhood.
this.
Like not have a childhood at all because I have to train 24/7 so I don't die when I start fighting criminals at 14 years old.
Yeah, because you don't have any powers. Yeah.
Yeah, like
When you start fighting crime at 14, when I inevitably start fighting crime at the ripe age of 11, at the old age of 11.
Well, yeah, old age is 14. Like 11 is it's when Bruce wants him.
It's when you're supposed to start.
Meanwhile, which is like, think about it. Bruce started when he was like 28 after like a decade of fucking. And he's like, "Hey, child, you've been training 6 months. You're ready to go."
But they weren't trained by the Bat, dude. He beat the life out of those kids until they were ready.
Oh my god! I mean, if you look at Robin, especially in things like Teen Titans, it worked.
Oh man, yeah. There's this like meme that I love where it's like if you had the choice to fight anyone in the Teen Titans, like the obvious answer is Robin. But like if you were to just look at them, like you'd be like, oh, let me fight Robin, and they'd be like, nah.
You're better off with the demon goddess, honestly.
Yeah. Straight up, bro. You're better off with the dude who can turn into any animal in the animal kingdom. Like, just let him eat you. It'll be easier.
Do you want to get your brains bashed in by a bow staff over and over? Because that's what's gonna happen.
They're like, dude, no, he is on another level. No, we don't mess with Robin. We don't even spar with Robin. We know.
He goes home to spar. We don't like. Right,
well, guys, tell us your answers. Jinx.
Yeah, let us know what you guys which you choose and why. Again, please give us more suggestions. We need more to put into Colin, and we want to be able to shout you guys out. We want you to join the community and
we want to communicate with you guys. Really, it's like the main thing. We just want to create, like Kyle said, we want to create a community. We want to create a group of people that all have a desire to see comic content get better, whatever those opinions of yours might be. All of it is welcome. We just want to, hash it out, see how we can elevate all of this for the future. And as always, you guys, so that we can elevate this to the top peak point that we can, please like, share, subscribe at Hosts4Hire podcast. That's Hosts4Hire with the number 4 podcast on all socials, but especially YouTube, because we're trying to get to 10,000 and we are struggle bussing. So you guys can help us get there. Tell your kids, tell your wives, tell your husbands. We're trying to talk to everybody out here.
Yeah, we do appreciate you again stopping by. We have been your hosts for hire, and we will catch you with the next episode.